Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you all. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. Um, for joining our final office hours for tier two. So we appreciate you being here. And this is specifically focused on non-deployment. So um, I'm just going to do some quick housekeeping and stuff. But folks, I want to let you know that we've got two people on here. They're fantastic, helping us with our non-deployment. And I'm just going to refer to them as the non-deployment dynamic duo. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm going with that. So the dynamic duo is on, and they'll take it after I do a little bit of chatting here. So next slide, please. So it's the same stuff that we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks. But as you know, part of tier two has already closed. Um, and then this has been extended to allow you some additional time because we had a few hiccups as we were kind of rolling out this. So this has been an additional 2 weeks that you get to submit the non-deployment applications. So let's see. Yep, we got the timeline here. Where is the timeline at? There it is. My slide. So non-deployment window closes on the 28th of August. So that's coming up. I think that's next third Friday. I think it is. Is that Friday? Anyway, you got to the 28th to get those applications in. And then we will do a publish intent to award list on September 23rd. We also have a challenge process that will happen between the 23rd and October 7th. And then we publish the challenge results. And then we announce the final awards, and hopefully we can get those agreements executed by December 18th. But this is very truncated and condensed and stuff because there's a lot of activity that happens on our end in between all these dates and stuff. But just so you kind of know the flow of things, this is what it looks like in a kind of a condensed effort here. So next slide, please. You know what, Melanie, this is a new slide that's been introduced here. I don't know if you want to talk about this
Yeah.
slide, non-deployment digital access operations cost.
Yep.
So at this point, I think I'll just turn it over to you. I think one of the things that I forgot was to just quickly talk about the portal real quick. And if you have any issues with the portal, and some of you have been doing this already, and it's been great. If you have any problems with that and filling out your application, please let us know as you've been doing. We appreciate that. I think there's been some issues around password resets and things like that. So when you do a password reset, don't forget you can't use your email address. When you create an account, the system generates a whole new username for you, and that's what you want to use as your username and not your email address. And then you'll be able to set your password if you need to do that. So that's just a quick thing there. And also, I just want to remind you that we're very limited in what we can kind of help you with. We don't want to give any competitive advantage to anybody, so we're very specific about some of the information that we might help you with. Like for instance, how should I answer this question? Well, we can't really tell you how you should answer. You have to kind of do your own thing there and explain things as you see it. So we don't want to be unfair and give competitive advantages and stuff. So just a quick little thing. Today is the last day or last office hours, should I say? And this cycle will close, like I said, on the 28th for non-deployment. So from this point, I will let the dynamic tool jump in here and take it away. Go ahead, ladies.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Stephen. So yeah, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Melanie Coletti, program manager for this digital access and inclusion work that is happening at the Broadband office. Katie, would you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Katie Fox, and I'm working with Melanie on digital access and inclusion work.
Yeah, we had a couple of questions that came in through our FAQ process that we wanted to address today because I think it's perhaps a little confusing and we want to make sure everybody understands exactly what we were thinking. The first question is around operational costs. And the more specific question is, can non-deployment funds support ongoing operational expenses? And the short answer is no because of the word ongoing, right? But although we're prioritizing one-time capital asset and program development costs, that means equipment, you're starting a new program, you're having new hires to expand a program, or maybe create curriculum. Um, so that's the clarification on the operational costs. And we want to make sure that if you submit an application for short-term operational expenses, that we need to know how that will be sustainable in the future. And it would be subject to approval by this broadband office staff. We're going to get into personnel costs on the next slide. So I will jump to that one before we open it up for questions because I think the next slide will answer some questions around operational costs. All right, so we have had several questions about personnel costs and whether they are allowable. And yes, in some cases they are. So, although our non-deployment funds are not intended to fund employees long term, we can consider short-term personnel expenses. So, those are roles like maybe digital navigators or instructors or short-term new hires. But in those cases, we need to know how the role will be funded in the future. This funding can start a role, it can add a role to an existing program, but it should not be expected that you're going to apply next year and that will be the funding source for that role. Um, if the role is created as part of a pilot program, great, because pilots have start dates and end dates. That's totally allowable. And if it's not a pilot program, we would want to know the end date of the position. So, another note before we answer any questions is while the funds can't replace other funds planned for the same purpose, in other words, we don't want to supplant, they can add new services to an existing program or fund a new program. So hopefully that helps a little bit. I know it felt a little murky to me as well, but um, let's see if anybody has questions about either of these two slides or something else. Just let us know. Yeah, go ahead, Edward.
So I have a budget up workbook that shows all of the high level categories, and I'm going to go back and give my best estimates to what would be funded. For example, technology and deployment, training content. My initial reaction from this conversation thus far is that those two areas will be covered. Will the funds that we are able to secure as part of matching grant, are there any restrictions on those funds being used for personnel or ongoing operations?
I don't know if someone else wants to take that, but I don't think so.
Just to be clear, let's
Yeah,
say
yeah, I don't blame you.
if I'm asking for 100,000 and the matching grant is 15%, so 15,000, can that 15,000 be used for operations and ongoing personnel?
Yeah, I don't think it would be able to be used for that because that the grant is for what's in your application. And what's in your application cannot be for both the grant and the matching funds are supposed to go towards whatever you put in your application. And what you put in your application should probably not be personnel and ongoing operational costs.
interesting feedback. My thoughts were that essentially my entity will be raising those funds as part of matching. So since we raised it, I would have expected that there would not be that limitation. I appreciate the feedback, but just want to give you my thoughts on why I thought there may be a question around that.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody else has a different take on it, but it's really what's funding, including the grant and the match, is what's ever in the four corners of your application.
Yeah, that was my initial reaction too. We can take that back and triple check
Okay.
and put it in the FAQ document.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question, Edward. Boy, there's always interesting things that unfold sometimes in these office hours, and that's an interesting and good question. So, thank you for that. So, um, any other questions? Anybody?
Looks like Kirby.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kirby.
Going off of the match question, I think my understanding was the 15%. Is the 15% a part of what we're applying to the grant itself, or can we use the 15% as the supportive services around the grant? So just another way to say what Edward just said, I feel like. Sounds like we'll get more info on that. And then my other question was, is the capital cost tab on the project workbook, is that the correct place to be filling out the budget for the non-deployment?
Yeah, I think so. I want to pull it up again. Are you pulling it up, Megan?
I am working on
I
pulling
knew
it
you
up.
would.
I believe the answer is yes. I know it's a little it's difficult to have the same template for, these last mile deployment projects and then these non-deployment projects. So anything that's not relevant to your project, you would put a 0 or leave it blank. But yes, there's just one budget template.
But it doesn't go under the operating, or what was
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah, your
operating
question.
costs.
Sorry, I'm having trouble finding it to pull it up.
So there's the capital cost summary tab, and then there's an operating cost summary tab, which I think is more for probably the middle mile and projects, but just want to make sure we're adding it in the right spot.
I think, Kirby, because it's so new, I think anywhere that you can provide the narrative that kind of lets us know what it is exactly that you were doing, and so we can,
Okay.
put some kind of analysis to what it is you're doing would be a big help. I apologize that we don't have like a specific answer, because we're trying to, because it's new, and these
Yeah.
are just the kind of questions that we need, the feedback that we need, to kind of make these little tweaks and stuff going forward. So I think in your situation, if you could be as descriptive as you can about what it is you're trying to do, and if you think it applies to what you're doing in terms of numbers and dollars and stuff, I would go ahead and
Okay.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and make that work for you. So
Okay.
yeah, I would do that. And then any other questions that come in, just email us to the advanced local inbox. Would be
Okay.
great. So
Okay.
I apologize that it's not a definitive, like,
No,
this,
yeah.
but definitely some tweaks and some maneuvering around we're going to have
Yeah.
to do, but just get your point across as clear as you can in the narrative, so you just kind of know what you're doing
Okay.
as we review. So
That sounds good. I'll let someone else ask questions. I have a couple others, but
I heard something. I thought I heard somebody.
Edward has his hand up.
Edward,
Well,
did you?
is anyone else before I just like Kirby? If anyone else has a question, I'll defer. All right. My next question is again hypothetically going. So say I asked for 100,000, that and the 15 matching would bring it to 115,000. So the total project value is 115,000. If I'm not able to raise the 15%, does that immediately completely disqualify me? Will the grant be lower? Do I get a second? What happens if I'm not able to meet the matching grant?
I think with all our projects, I think I think you need to provide what is it, the match, what is it, the match
A
waiver?
waiver. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Sorry,
you
Steve.
would.
Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. You would provide a waiver. You explain the situation and make your argument for, in within that narrative of your match waiver. So yes, you can do a match waiver.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Kirby, I think you said you had some more questions, right?
I do. I
Right
have
on.
one more. I
Mm-hmm.
think we explained the spreadsheet. So in the application itself, it asks the total number of estimated devices that will be installed for non-employment. I was viewing that as if we're doing distro for like cell phones or for laptops, those type of things. Is that accurate, or should we put in if we're not actually um, installing like internet or something like that?
I believe that, yeah, it would be the total number of pieces of equipment you are, yeah, maybe installed is a misleading term in that question. But yeah, if you're, purchasing them for a distribution model, I think that's the number we're looking for.
Perfect. Thank
And
you.
then you can reiterate those things in your various narrative questions.
Yeah, if I could just jump on that for a second. Yeah, Kirby, I think it's important to provide as much context as you can throughout the narratives. That's going to be important. So when you have specific numbers or you're reflecting on data, just using the narrative sections and the both minimum requirements and award criteria to link them all together so we can get a bigger picture of what you're trying to do. So
Perfect. Thank you.
So, Megan or whoever's running the slides there, can you go back to the remind? Oh, well, does anybody, Kirby, Ed, where you got your hand up again? Go for it.
This last one, this is meant to give feedback for the team.
Yep.
Go and evaluate the 15%. Let me give you a little bit more background as you go back and evaluate this. I'm the founder and CEO of End Elder Fraud. I've been operating in Colorado since 2021. We have helped hundreds, if not thousands, of users not get scammed. And we're now growing well beyond education to the equivalent of the Weather Channel of scams. And my biggest suppliers or benefactors have been banks, have been senior living centers. And the intention initially was to approach them with the grant opportunity and say that the grant is only going to take us so far, but for ongoing operations, we're looking at a match that will be dedicated toward the operations. So that's how I was positioning it, because I anticipated reading that operations wouldn't be covered. And again, operating under the model that I would be leveraging my benefactors to raise this. This was in my purview. So just a little bit more feedback as you go back and evaluate the appropriate use of that matching grant. And that's all I wanted to add to that.
Perfect. Anybody want to expand on Ed Edwards' question or his statement? But like I said, it is such valuable information. It's really appreciated.
Stephen, I'll jump in. just again, Edward, make sure to in your application provide all that relevant information. Because when we come to review applications, we need to just look at what's in front of us. So making sure that you have all of that context and all that information entered in the application narrative.
Which is why I wanted to just go back to the reminders tab here or page here, just to reiterate a few things. Just to visit the website, Advanced Local website, for all the resources and project specifics. The FAQs get updated weekly. I think that's coming up here very soon, so I think it'll be very current. Gather all the relevant information before beginning. So get all your documents in front of you. So when you start the process, you have it all in front of you and it'll go pretty smoothly, hopefully. And read the minimum requirements and award criteria application and the scoring process, and be very intentional and very specific about answering the both segments of those questions. The minimum requirements are very separate from the award criteria. So make sure I know what is going to what, and be as detailed as you can in the minimum requirements. It matters. So just, dot every I, cross every T. We just talked about the workbook a little bit. Just whatever's relevant to you. If something needs clarification, make sure it's just in your narrative somewhere. And try not to alter the spreadsheet, but if you need it altered with more rows or columns or something, just let us know and we'll do it for you, just because of the formulas that are involved with it and the calculations and stuff. So, and then upload, be sure to name files correct, so we know what is what, and the correct formats. Although if you upload something that's not the right format, the system won't let you go any further. So I don't think you'll have a problem with that. It's usually a PDF or an Excel file or something like that. So, team, did I miss any reminders, or is there something I missed here?
That all sounded good to me.
Dynamic Dual, is there anything that you guys want to add or make them aware of in terms of this non-deployment journey some of these folks are on?
Well, I just want to thank you for your interest. This is our first round, and as everyone said, we want feedback on the process. We really are excited to get money out to communities, so thank you for being here, and yeah.
I
And
guess,
Ed,
oh, go ahead, Stephen. I was
who was
just
that?
going to say,
Is that Katie?
just to
Go ahead,
remind
Katie.
folks that we have a webinar on that was specifically on non-deployment too. So that's a good reference to go back to. If you weren't able
Yeah,
to attend, there's a recording.
thank you for that. And it's been the Ed and Kirby show today. So Ed and Kirby, do you guys have any more things you want to say or suggest to the team? Or if you run into any issues with the portal, please let us know as soon as possible so that we can address it and get it fixed. This was our last office hours. And this tier 2 non-deployment will close on the 28th, so at 11:59, so Mountain Standard Time. So just so you know.
One question, if you don't mind. Kate,
Yep.
you just mentioned the webinar. I was looking before I joined today I'm at the, which site is this? The Advanced Colorado Broadband, and I see several postings from before, the stakeholder meetings, stakeholder roundtable, but I don't see previous webinar. Which site are those stored under?
Yeah, let me see if I can get a link, or if anyone else is faster than me, if we can drop a link for the non-deployment webinar in the chat.
It's a race here. I'll find it too. Uh-oh, I heard something.
I have it pulled up. So it's on this page, and then actually, let me just, can I share my screen, Kristen? I'll just kind of show you where it is on that page. If I can figure out how to share. Here we go. Okay, so on this state and local page, you have to expand this resources section. And then under recordings and slides, there's the non-deployment webinar down here.
Excellent.
So you can see that recording, and then you can also reference the slides.
Thank you.
Thank you. Megan, you were really fast. I was trying to get to it, and then it was like it didn't go well for me. So thank you. Okay, I think that's all we have for you folks today, unless somebody has any last minute questions they want to ask. All right, folks. Well, you get plenty of time back today, as they say. So we appreciate you joining. And I heard my thing ping. Did I miss any one, or is that just my email going off? Okay, so with that, we're going to leave it at that. I want to thank everybody for joining, and good luck with your applications. If you have any issues, please reach out. With that, you get some time back, and thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.